Good morning, everybody. It's that time of week again. It's Nicole's Minnesota Organics, and today I have a special guest with us. So I would like to introduce my daughter, Catherine. You say hi.
Hi,
What's your name?
Catherine.
How old are you?
4,
4. What's your favorite color?
2,
What's your favorite thing to grow in the garden?
tomatoes.
Tomatoes. That's a good answer. Say hi.
Hi.
Auntie's watching. You say hi.
Hi.
Okay, we're going to start walking around now. Okay. Come on. You want to tell everybody what these are?
Yeah.
What are they?
Cherries.
Cherries. They're raspberries, silly.
Raspberry.
Raspberries, that's right. We actually picked all the ripe ones off except for I see one. You want to do the honors?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you not get the stem out?
Yeah.
There we go. How's it taste?
That tastes like blueberry.
It tastes like blueberries?
Yeah.
Well, that must be a really good raspberry then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, let's walk down here. These are all of the tomatoes that I just kind of planted nilly-willy in the ground. I'm not weeding, I'm not fertilizing, I'm not pruning, I'm not staking, absolutely nothing. The rain kind of knocked them down, but they're growing and they're thriving, so we'll see if they produce any fruit before the cold comes. This is kind of just an experiment. Got the flowers on there. All right. We're just waiting for these asparagus ferns to die off so we can cut them down and mulch over here to protect the roots during the winter. We're going to walk in the garden. Come on, baby. All right. So, last week with these carrots, we were noticing that the bulbs were not swelling like they should be probably by now. So I took some advice from a fellow gardener and I thinned them out. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it sure looks very bare to me. We pulled out probably a third of what was in these rows. And they were just little tiny baby carrots, but they were adorable. I should have brought some out, but we ate them. Sorry, I should have saved some for you. Maybe next time. These radishes are... I think we got rid of the aphid problem, but I'm thinking that maybe they gave our plant some type of disease because now all the leaves are looking really nasty. I thinned out these parts and took all the gross dying vegetation off of it, but you can see, I mean, down over here, all these leaves are looking pretty icky. I gotta finish. That's the pile that I took out so far, but... These cabbages are finally getting big and beautiful. Same thing with that purple kale. It's looking so good. Our ground cherries are still producing a ton, but nothing's really ripening. There's a ton on here. It's just a waiting game. But, look, Catherine, it looks like we got some beans to pick. You gonna tell me how they taste? Is it good?
It tastes like yellow beans.
It tastes like yellow beans?
Yeah.
The yellow beans taste just like the green ones, pretty much. All right. You want to tell everybody what these are?
Yeah.
Is that our first sunflower?
Yeah.
It's so pretty. Looks like the rain kind of knocked down some of these sunflowers. This one I put a cage on because it actually broke right down here. So I'm thinking that They are having a hard time because if you look up, these trees are right here and the branches are kind of starting to stick out farther. I got to trim them down. And I think the rain falls off the tips of these branches and then tramples this. I think that might be what is happening with those ground cherries over there too, because they're covered in mud almost always. So I think it's these branches that are toppling them with the rain. I got to trim all these down. But, okay, these over here, okay. The peppers, I don't know if you remember, but last week there was a pepper on here that was like this big. Yes, it's a duck. These had a big pepper on them, but I decided since there's lots of flower buds on this plant, that I went ahead and picked it early, even though it was not ripe, because I want to, and then I just pulled off a baby on accident. That's a bummer. Well, I guess it'll just continue to encourage new growth and put its energy into the fruits and the flowers that are already on the plant. So that was my goal by taking that off. And I did keep it so we can do a taste test. I'm not sure if it'll taste good because it's not ripe yet, but we got lots of other peppers finally starting to show themselves. Other little ones there. And they're pretty much just all over, little flower buds and little peppers. We're getting them everywhere, so that's exciting. Kohlrabi looks like it's starting to get a little bit thick there. We might have our bulbs start to swell. More little peppers. And our Brussels sprouts. Okay, let's see if we can... It's not wanting to focus right now. Okay, well you can see, kind of, right here there's a little green node. That's the start of a Brussels sprout. So, that's kind of exciting. Break off one of these leaves. Here. What do you think?
It tastes like trees.
It tastes like trees? Is it a tasty tree?
Well, in it, there is a tree.
It is like a tree. It came off the Brussels sprout plant.
But in it, the house like that tree leaves.
Yeah, it does. Okay, so these tomato plants, I don't know if you can tell, but I hacked the crap out of these plants. I took off everything below like the bottom 2 feet on these plants to keep airflow going through here and to prevent blight, which is basically like fungal that will spread to the plant and kill it basically. So that's what we're trying to avoid here. I tried to keep these single stem going up these. And I trimmed up any branches that were crossing each other, any branches that were towards the center of the cage or the plant, anything that basically wasn't essential for the fruit's growth, I chopped off. So I think these tomatoes here are going to be the first ones to ripen. They're starting to get pale instead of like the dark green like most of them are. So I think those are going to start turning. These are the David Davidsons. They are like a light orange color, and they're supposed to be with a hint of citrus. So that should be kind of exciting. And these Wapsinian peaches are just going crazy. If you can see these suckers, there's 3 main stems on this one now. Because I didn't prune the suckers and they got way too big and they have fruit on them. I didn't want to cut them off, but lessons learned for next year. We got, tons and tons of big tomatoes. They're all looking really beautiful. We got, this is the biggest one for size comparison. And these ones are kind of cool. Those are going to be orange and red striped. They're speckled Romans.
Wait.
So, it's pretty cool.
What one is a be yellow?
Which ones will be yellow?
Yeah.
I think these ones will be yellow. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at exactly which ones are which. But I know these ones will be yellow. There's lots of bundles on this one.
That's gonna be yellow?
These ones all will be. These are yellow bean pear tomatoes. These will all be bright yellow.
Wow.
Okay, these cucumbers back here. I picked all the big ones that we had back here, but I did save one for you, so I'll show you when we go up there. But we got lots growing all the way up. And we got more just all over the place, really. Little tiny one. I'm not seeing a whole lot of other ones on these other plants. I'm not sure if they're going to produce very much, but I did. Oh, there's a little one.
Fell in a pan.
Yeah.
I just do this.
Mm-hmm. But look what I discovered. There's a hole, and I'm not sure from what, but there's definitely something that's worked its way into my garden, so I'm going to have to figure out what to do about that exactly. Oh, I did see a little cucumber. There we go. Cool beans. Okay, I think that's it for the garden part. I'm going to walk you guys back up on the deck because I got a few things I want to show you. I've got a taste test to do.
I'm not like this yet.
Okay. You follow me up here, baby? Okay. So I wanted to show you. These are the tomato plants that I have just put in this container of water here. But I wanted to show you. Those are new roots growing. They're rooting themselves right in water. Don't even need any dirt. We'll see what these do. It's just kind of another one of my experiments, but super neat. Time to harvest some herbs again. They're starting to get big and out of control. That purple basil I propagated is still doing good. Here and here.
Tomatoes.
Everything's just growing like crazy. We picked all the ripe tomatoes off here, or I should say my daughter picked them for me and then came and told me, hey Mom, you have ripe tomatoes. So we got, I'm not sure what most of these are. I know this one and that one is a yellow pear tomato. These looks like it's one of the bigger varieties, and these are one of the bigger varieties, but I'm not sure. None of the ones in my garden have bugs, like at all, but there's something definitely going here, and I think this one, I don't want to break it off on accident, but there's holes, so something's definitely up here. All right, these potatoes are looking deader, which is a good sign because that means we're going to have potatoes to dig up soon. And we got our first little tiny pepper buds on the one up here. I'm kind of curious to see what this one is. I think it's a Shervana Huska. I'll have to show you my seed packets next time. And I put some of the kohlrabi in a pot, and you can tell it's starting to get thick. I've never grown kohlrabi before, so we'll see how that turns out. I think it's time to get some support on my pepper plants, because you can tell they're starting to fall over. The rain did most of that, and they took a beating last night, but... And I got these containers still. I am in the process of putting these plants into these containers. This is... When I say you don't need fancy things to garden, I mean it. Like, you really don't. These are just what I had on hand. They're just totes. Some of them have stickers, some of them have cracks, some of them have holes, but they will work to plant plants in. So use what you got. Those are all going to get put in there. And then, one last thing I wanted to show you guys. Besides all the growth that's happening on these, I think I might pop these in soil because they're kind of starting to slow down. It could be the temperature too out here. But as far as growth, I think their roots might need a little bit more nutrients. And our baby dill, I'm wondering if it needed the cold weather or if it needed more shade, but it seems like it's finally starting to grow now that it's under the shade of this umbrella up here. So, I'm not sure if we'll actually get anything viable off these celery, but they're growing nicely and producing some nice greens, so maybe they'll at least go in a soup. We got those green onions. I can clip those off and, oops, Catherine spilled my coffee.
It got on me.
It got on you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
See?
I see. It got on Mommy's seed packets too. You gotta be careful, baby. Okay, scoop this out a little bit. I wanted to show you, aside from the spilt coffee that just got in here. Okay. This is the pepper that I pulled off early. And that is a sweet chocolate pepper. And let's go ahead and cut this open if I can do it with one hand. Okay. We definitely got lots of seeds in here. I'll try to cut it this way. Oh, sorry, guys.
Papa.
You want to take a test and taste it? I should have cut these before on camera. Here. You try some? Are they good?
It's like taste like green beans.
They taste like green beans?
Yeah, look how this is green.
Well, they're kind of like a bell pepper, but they're missing something, maybe sweetness. I bet that that's just underripe. But if you look, they're a lot thinner, like the wall is, than a pepper. Oh, well, she must like it. She's eating more. But yeah, I definitely want to see what those are like when they're ripe more. Okay, we got the Boothly's Blonde. And that's what this is. I left all the little spines on there just so you guys can see them. Cut into it. Looks like we got 3 little sections. Gonna taste it? What do you think? That's a really good cucumber. It's super crunchy.
I know, but that tastes like green beans.
Do they all taste like green beans to you? It's definitely a little bit different. I'm not sure exactly what is different about them, but they're very crunchy. I like the texture of them. I like a crunchy cucumber. Soggy ones aren't very good. All right, and I'm not sure how good this is going to taste just by itself. This is a A&C pickling cucumber. So, these are just to make pickles with. That's got a nice crunch to it, too. It's not bitter, so that's a good thing, because the first one I picked was extremely bitter. And try a bite. Is that good stuff? Yeah. Okay. So, this is the last one. Is the True Lemon Cucumber. And I know that I showed you guys this before. But, I wanted to cut into this on camera for you guys. Just doesn't do the same as pictures does, but essentially that's just like the picture. It's got all these little black spines on them. This one's not too bad because it's been sitting in my fridge for 2 days, but when you first pick them off the plant, these spines are really pokey. And they just come off all over your hands. They rub off really easy. But Let me set this up for a half a second. Okay. There we go. Guys. That's pretty. You try bite? What do you think?
It tastes really good.
It tastes really good?
Yeah.
God, the crunch of these are just amazing compared to the ones you buy in the grocery store. It, like, doesn't even compare. Can you hear that crunch? Listen to me chew. It does not have a lemon taste at all, but it's very light and refreshing. I definitely think that I'm going to grow these lemon cucumbers for sure. They've been the most prolific out of everything that we've grown, I think, and they've just taken off. Even when they weren't doing very good in the start, they recovered really easily, and I noticed there's not a whole lot of disease or pest issues compared to the rest of the varieties that I grew, so I definitely think I'll grow this again. But, well, it's the remains. We're going to have to chow this down. You say, thanks for watching! See you later, guys. Hakuna Matata.